Welcome to This Week in Washington for Friday, February the 17th, 2012. This has been another rather confusing and strange week here as we continue to stumble through efforts to pass legislation and to try to get a handle on legislation for transportation reauthorization. There's a number of updates on the transportation reauthorization front on our website at www.ctaa.org under Reauthorization Central. There'll be some new information added today about an amendment being introduced to the Senate bill by Senator Harkin that restores funds to the bus and bus facilities program so that these important investments are not lost in the Senate's version of reauthorization. On the House side, there was a great deal of change in position on the House leadership portion of the transportation bill by agreeing to divide the bill into three parts instead of a one-part bill, so that now we have a separate transportation bill to be discussed, a separate energy-related bill, and a separate one on federal employee benefits. The leadership felt that they had a better chance to get their bills passed by separating them since, of course, different parts of the bill antagonize different parts of their coalition and their membership. It's a little early to say exactly how this will come out, but earlier this week we were told that Congress would be trying to vote, at least in the House, on the House bill by Friday. However, that certainly seems to be very far off at the moment, especially since they are now going on vacation for a week. Last time we counted, there were significant numbers of amendments in both the House and the Senate on the transportation bills that will require a great deal of floor time to make progress on either accepting or removing them. So you can stay tuned to that, and you can also, as I said, take a look at the information that is on our Reauthorization Central website. The week ahead, where Congress is out of session, has been listed, at least in the House of Representatives, as a work-at-home week. So I hope that any of you who happen to have an opportunity to run into your member of Congress might address some of the issues we've been talking about over the last week or so, especially on the transportation bill. Although many of us feel that the Senate bill is a much better vehicle since it preserves the Transportation Trust Fund and the transportation program's relationship to the trust fund, I would like to add a cautionary piece of information about the House and the Senate bills that I did make earlier this week to several of our members when I spoke with them. And that is that neither of these bills really come close to addressing what you helped us identify as the real transportation investment needs that our country has to have for not just the transit programs, but the public transportation programs and highway programs as well. We're talking now about seeing a huge increase in the price of fuel later this year. We know that the cost of cement and other important aspects of the highway program are also continuing to rise. A hold harmless budget in these areas is in fact losing ground. And if the price of fuel goes up as high as it is, we can expect this to result in one of two things: either more and higher fare increases, or more and more intensive reductions of existing services. Neither of these are good options, and neither of them serve the best interests of the American people. So we need to keep alert for that, and as I've said this week and have written to members of Congress, look, we still need new opportunities to make new investments. We still think we need new things in the Transit Trust Fund besides just the traditional fuel taxes, but we are not going to be able to address the significant needs of the American people if we don't increase our investments in these efforts. These are absolutely critical to both the short and long-term economic viability of the country. Toward those ends, President Obama last week released their budget for the coming year and their projection of a significant increase in transportation spending by adding general revenue funds beyond the trust funds to both the highway and the transit programs. It would be hard not to support these numbers since they come closer and are better in meeting the needs that we know exist within our efforts as well as our partners in the transportation area. We're not sure that that budget's really going anywhere. If you listen to all the discussion of all the people who know about what's going on in Washington, we're always told that it's already dead on arrival. That may be true, except it is a realistic approach to how much investment we need, both to spur jobs and to help the economy. So I hope you'll take a look at that as well on our website, and you'll consider letting the President know that we think that he's headed in the right direction. As we've said, we're going to continue to work with him and his administration, as well as our friends in Congress, to get a better transportation bill. This week, we've had some discussions here as we prepare for our annual expo in Baltimore. I thought I'd let you know that we have sent out invitations to both Secretary LaHood to ask him to come and participate with us, and of course to Administrator Rogoff. And earlier this week, we invited Vice President Biden to come by because we think that since we're close to Washington, D.C., it might be nice for him to take time from his schedule to come up and visit with us, especially if we're going to have an event at the B&O Railroad Museum. As we know, the Vice President's very interested in railroads, so who knows, maybe we'll luck out and have him join us as well. We're also preparing here our usual run of pre-expo issues like workshops and training opportunities. Those are all going forward, and I think we're going to have a very good expo this year up in Baltimore. I'm also looking forward to seeing all of you shortly down in Savannah for our next board meeting. I think we're going to find Savannah to be the kind of location that we like for Expo and our future events, so I'll look forward to seeing you there too. We're closed on Monday for President's Day, like a lot of you, but if you have any questions or you have any concerns based on the information on our website or any of the updates that we've been sending out, please feel free to email me and let me know. As you know, I'm always around answering email. I hope you have a great weekend. As I said, this has been another one of those unusual weeks here. Looks like it's going to be that way for the rest of the year. We're just going to have to learn to live with the strangeness of these times, but to keep moving forward, talking about the important role that our programs and activities play in the health and well-being of the American people, and of course in the health and well-being of the economy. As long as we stay on that course, I think in the end, we're going to come out okay. So that's all I have for you this morning. Have a great weekend, as I said. Stay in touch, and I'll be talking to you shortly. Bye for now.